we have in Zambia, the customer administration and the state administration. I also indicated to you the pressure that has arisen, that has built up to compel the conversion. One of the factors, one was population increase, urbanization, and the growth of the economy. This evening we start to dissect the topical issue of conversion of customer land to leasehold or to state tenure, statehold tenure or leasehold. In Zambia, by now, they've come to understand the importance of and the value of land as an economic resource. Currently, there are a lot of Zambians and equally non-Zambians that have acquired land from various chiefdoms in the country, especially near the urban areas and peri-urban areas. Resident properties is fully aware that access to land and property market information is limited in the country. It is therefore very important as one of the leading real estate practice companies in the country to disseminate information to the public to enhance prudent property market decisions backed by expert advice. Well-informed decisions equal to economic prudence when we are embarking on new investment. Therefore, it's our duty to disseminate information that can assist the public to making informed decisions. This evening, we start to dissect the topical issue of customer land conversion to leasehold tenure. But it's also very important to understand that land and property, they are legal in nature, and it's very important to understand the legal nature of land. You may understand that conversion of customer land or tenure to leasehold is a process backed by law or guided by law and several instruments that administers, that guides the administration of land. Land administration in Zambia is governed by 3 pieces of legislation under the Ministry of Lands. 1, Cap 184, Lands Act. 2, Cap 185, the Lands and Lease Act. And Cap 188, the Survey Act. As you know, those of you who go to Ministry of Lands, they are these departments. So they are all involved in the administering land in the country. So first of all, before we move on, who is the owner of land in Zambia? Cap 184, Section 3.1 states that notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in any other law, instrument, or document, but subject to this act, all land in Zambia shall be first absolute in the president and shall be held by him in perpetuity and on behalf of the people of Zambia. So all the land in Zambia is vested in the president in perpetuity on behalf of the people of Zambia. So this information, this legal information I'm giving is not a legal opinion. It's just expert information, understanding. The aware ignorance of law is not defense. So it's very important to understand the legal aspect of property. Cap 4, Cap 184, Section 4, Subsection 1. Further, it tells us, informs us that the president shall not alienate any land under Section 2 and 3 of Section 3 without receiving any consideration in money for such alienation and ground rent for such land except where the alienation is for public use. Okay. A lot of people that they question why they are paying for land at the Ministry of Lands when they are in the process of conversion. It's a requirement, and when you look at the language used, it is shall. So it's mandatory that the president must get consideration. For information, the president is represented by the Commissioner of Lands. So therefore, the money you pay is by law. Furthermore, when you go to look at the section 8, subsection 1, it reads, notwithstanding section 7, after the commencement of this act, any person who holds land under customary tenure may convert it into leasehold tenure not exceeding 99 years. This one guides us in the way that land, customer land, can be converted from customer land to leasehold. It's also very important to understand that that it's a process. There is a process. Section 8, subsection 1 is by application, it's not automatic. And the president may grant you leasehold and a title upon application. I also want you to note that this aspect that section 9, subsection 1, a person shall not, without authority, occupy or continue to occupy vacant land. Any person who occupies land in contravention of section 1, the one above, is liable to be convicted. There are a number of people who find land unoccupied. It is an offense to occupy land without authority. You could be convicted if you are arrested and taken to court. So these aspects of land are very important to understand before now we go into the details and the steps you need to take to convert that customer land you have been given or acquired from the chief to leasehold. See, this understanding helps you to appreciate the process as long as may be, but you understand that that's the law between the two land administration, the systems, the customary land administration, and the leasehold state land administration. So if you understand this legal aspect of the land, then you become patient because you know there's a process. Furthermore, it is important to understand that also the president is empowered to alienate land to the non-Zambia. This is section 3, subsection 3. Subject to any other provisions and procedures relating to alienation of land, the president may alienate land to a non-Zambian. You have heard in the wording that the provisions and procedures, there are procedures, but the president may alienate land to a non-Zambian. Furthermore, we have the instrument 81 of 1996 that guides in the conversion of customer tenure to statehold or state land, statehold lease. So, in this case, why we hear leasehold, as I just mentioned, that all land is vested in the president. So, when you are given land, you are a tenant. So it's a leasehold. SI 89 of 1996 states that any person using is occupying land in the customary area with the intention of settling there for a period of not less than 5 years, one may apply to the chief of the area where the land is situated for the
who is the Sales and Listings Coordinator. We're also joined by Jerry Katongo, Sales and Projects Officer, and we also have Lutanda Kawuta, Sales Executive, all from Horizon Properties. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having us.
Okay, your reaction there to the doctor's presentation?
Doctor's presentation is quite insightful, especially now that we're witnessing a lot of land sales. People occupying land that don't legally want. And if you're someone who's been buying plots around, buying farms, or someone who intends to begin your journey in investing in real estate, I think this information is for you, and you need to take it serious. It's not just for those that are seeking to invest, but also those that are also in the business of selling land. I think this information also benefits you. And what I would urge the listeners out there is, if at all you have a question, you want to seek clarity here and there, please send us an email to info@horizonproperties.com. This is a very important topic that we present to you, and I would urge the listeners out there to ask as many questions as they can. And if you're someone who wants maybe to share your experience, or has maybe a different perspective of what's being presented, please share that information by sending us an email to info@horizonproperties.com, and we'll gladly attend to those submissions.
All right, thank you so much, Champion. Now we are halfway through the year and 9 days obviously to June. What message would you give to people who've been postponing property investment?
Thank you so much, Nono, for that question. Like you have rightly put it, we are already into the second half of the year, and we believe that time waits for no one. And our primary message to those that are listening to us, and for those that are still contemplating whether to make a move and invest into property, the time would never be right for you to make an investment. But what we can actually guarantee you is the fact that the value of property always increases. Okay, so if you didn't make the first half of this year count, you still have an opportunity to make the second half of this year count, because the property that you might have seen maybe in January, for example, maybe going at a certain price. When you go and view the same property today, you're not going to find it at the same price. Why? Because the time has passed and that particular property might have gained more value. That piece of land that you saw might have gained more value. That farmland that you were interested in, whereas you had resources but you are still thinking about it, you might have found that another person made a move and purchased that particular portion. So what we're encouraging those that are listening to us right now is that time is of the essence, especially when you are making property investment, because as time goes by, value of properties goes up. So we are urging those that are listening to us, this is the time that you need to come on board and make the second half of this year count. Buy that particular portion of land that you saw. Buy that piece of a farm that you might have seen maybe on our Facebook page. You might have actually maybe called one of our sales agents to inquire more about it, but you never had that opportunity for you to make a move within the first half of this year. You can come to Horizon Properties and be able to make that investment. Another point that I would like to make mention, Nono, is that these properties are being sold out. Okay, I'm talking about sites that you might have seen. I'll give an example. Maybe our Repadzio site. Okay, maybe the first half of the year you are still comforted when you build, you're still comforted to say, maybe well, these people still have a number of the lots that are there, maybe I'll be able to buy. Okay, but would like to actually communicate via this platform today that we're just remaining with a few plots for us to actually close down that particular site. So what we're trying to say is that properties that we sell, you may be interested and you go back, but another person comes and doesn't even waste a minute. They make a purchase just there and then. Okay, so most of the properties that you might have seen actually within the first half of the year, most of them have gone. Okay, most of them have gone. No. Why? Because people are making moves to make sure that they secure their future. Okay, so as we speak and talk about the second half of this year, you need to understand that properties may not always be there for you to make a decision. Okay, so if you are going to take advantage of the listings that you might have seen on any platform that belong to Horizon Properties, either on social media, you come to our offices, or you come across one of our catalogs and you peruse through, you find a property there, please make a move now and be able to close 2025 on a brighter note, because we can guarantee you that most of the sites that we have had, we are almost concluding. I'll give an example. Even on the Green Village project, we have had clients that would come, maybe they will come this week. They will even capture a site plan. They will capture the site plan and be sure to say, okay, what the plot that I want is this one, but let me make a decision. Okay, maybe for them to make that decision, they take a week, they take 2 weeks. The next time they come to our offices to say, now I've made up my mind, I want to purchase this particular plot, we have to move them. We'll move them, we'll tell them, say, oh, this plot that you saw last time, these have been bought. You can only pick from this area. Okay, this is what we're talking about. So when you come to Horizon Properties, you need to make sure that as you come through, you look at the property that you're interested in, get more information, make a decision so that you can be able to secure that property before another person comes. Because these properties that we have, they can be bought at any given moment. Okay, we have had situations known where a listing is made today, just a few hours, that property is gone. Why? Because we're talking about people that are on the lookout to make sure that they secure their future. So if you're one of the people that are listening to us and you are still contemplating whether to make a move now or not, we can always appeal to you. This is the second half of the year. It is not too long when we're talking about now Happy New Year and people are celebrating. But imagine 6 months have gone. So people need to move and make that dream come true.
Yeah, and just to back, of course, his statements and everything that he said, I would definitely agree with him to say the longer you wait, the more expensive, of course, land or property becomes. We've shared a number of stories here on radio of how certain properties were selling in certain ranges in terms of price, let's say maybe a year or two ago, and how much those particular properties are selling now. And it's only fair for us to say land does not depreciate in value. In as much as other factors may come in, let's say maybe bought land, but in those days it was maybe it was a hot area, people were running to it, and maybe with time that particular area turns into a common and all that, and people no longer desire to buy in that particular area. Those rare situations. But most times, land always appreciates in value. What do I mean? Because I've said it here so many times. Land is a finite resource. They're not making it anymore. The land that we have right now, the amount of land that we have in Lusaka, in Akwan and Yaminate, unless maybe with time, they've changed let's say maybe the demarcations of these provinces or districts and Fakirako side, so that maybe there will be more land. But still more.
Even then, that's not even making land.
Yes, that's not making land. Yes, thank you for that. The only thing that we'll do is that more areas will be associated to being in Lusaka, but still land will be scarce. So the scarcity of land that has hit Lusaka, of course, the best we can do is to buy it now. What do I mean by this? So maybe what point am I trying to drive home, land gives you freedom. No. You know, for people to proudly say, let's say maybe I'm from, let's say maybe I'm from Makeni, there is definitely either land or a house that is there that makes you say, I'm from Makeni. You know, you cannot proudly say no, maybe I'm from, let's say maybe I'm from Charleston, but she conquered. There has to be something which you own there. So this is why we say, for you to truly say I'm a Zambian, you need to own a piece of this land. Because those that have gone for, let's say maybe certain interviews, they would ask you, maybe you want to go out and all that. They would ask you questions of, and they would try to look at what is it that you own that will make you come back to Zambia. So if you have land, definitely that's enough proof to say, no, at least to Muntu, I got a land, they'll definitely come back. So what I'm trying to say is that land definitely gives you freedom. So in as much as it gives you freedom, it also gives you the ability to actually get to even get money from Mr. Uganda. Hey, so give me a 5 million in a land, and he will trust you for that. It stands in as collateral. Aside from all that, land gives you a sense of belonging. So you have the freedom, but for you to feel to say you belong, you need at least a portion of land. And you can't build a house unless you have land. So this is a time where we now appeal to everyone out there to say, no, okay, the end from January to June now, and we're on the 9th of June. The best you can do is make the decision. Because for you to buy, the decision has to be made. Yes, you can envision, you can see yourself maybe living in that dream house and everything. But if a decision is not made, it's as good as nothing. So the best you do is make a decision tonight and say, okay, fine. In as much as I don't have all the money that I need for me to get a plot, let's say in Ibex, or to get a plot, let's say maybe in the Green Village, like Derek said, or to get a plot, let's say maybe in Tatuwa that we're selling, the best you can do is first decide. And then when you decide, engage your rights on property so that we can sit down and discuss the payment plans. Because in as much as maybe certain portions of land are set for certain prices, you don't have to have all the money with you before you can purchase. Definitely we'll ask you to pay a certain part, and then the balance should pay it over time. So the best you can do is engage us and have a conversation. But first, make a decision. Know what you want. Know the areas that you intend to stay in, or where you want to own land. Because we don't just buy land or buy property for the sake of you staying in it. Because it's very land. Land you can simply buy and keep, and maybe use it later if you don't have use for it now. Especially the lands that are maybe let's say maybe 20 kilometers from Osaka, 30 kilometers, or even 100 kilometers from Osaka. Because one thing you know is that the city is growing, the population is growing. And the best you can do is to buy land now, so that when that time comes, when people have use for that particular land, you can either sell it or build on it so that someone can rent your place. Or maybe, yeah. So there is a lot that you can do with land. And the best I would say is, in the interest of time, buy land now. Don't wait to buy land, especially if you want to farm this year. The best time to buy land is now. So that come August, come September, you have time to prepare your fields, and then definitely get to plant your maize during the rain season. Not Kugula farm in November, then you come and drop them something. I don't want to go to farm there. How do you go about it? The best is come through now. Let's sit down, discuss the options and everything, the payment plans, buy the land. And just by October, you must exactly be there. You definitely get your portion of that value.
Interesting. Now, for those that have obviously are listening to the program and they've gotten the message, and maybe are seeking to invest in farmlands, what currently is available as options? And I did hear you give certain 1 or 2 areas in your brief there.
Okay, so we have farms in Chiawa. So for Chiawa, I think there are different sizes and 2 different conditions of land that we have. So we have land which is 9 kilometers from Zambi farms. Those are not Chiawa. So you cross the bridge, you get to where the Zambi farms are. Then you proceed to the left. So these farms, of course, they're not on the river, they're off the river. It's just land, virgin land, and beautiful land. So there we have 3 sizes. We have 50-acre portions of land, which we are selling at 350,000 kwacha, and then we have 20 acres of land, which we are selling at 160,000 kwacha. We also have 5-acre portions of land, which we are selling at 60,000 kwacha. So these are not on the river for the share land. Because a lot of people would ask, no, is this river frontage? Do we have streams and everything? So this one we are selling as easy. There are no rivers there. The only thing you get is just land, all the beautiful trees and everything, and you can do your farming from there. So 50 acres at 350,000 kwacha, 20 acres at 160,000 kwacha, and then my 5 acres at 60,000 kwacha.
So one thing that I always talk about when it comes to the Chiawa land is the value gain prospects of it, in the sense that right now the access route is the Chirundu Road, and obviously from town or the CBD it takes a little bit of time, so to say, to get there. But then the prospect of the other road, the Leopards Hill Road, or rather the access point using Leopards Hill Road, and obviously through Mikango and approaching Chirundu from that angle, that road is way shorter. Not only is it way shorter, it's that if it were in a better situation or standing right now, you would be getting from, say, from here, Long Acres, to get to our lot, it would take you about an hour to an hour 30 minutes using that route. But of course, it's in a situation, or rather a state, that it is not really advisable to use that route right there and then, or rather today, or any other day, that is. But if it were to be worked on, that means that access is now obviously very much usable, and then the value gain to the lands that people would be buying 20 acres for 160 and 50 acres for 350. Now, those are packages that you won't have the luxury of getting. What you're going to be getting now is going to be the same spacings, or rather sizes, that are in Mikango. My 5 acres, now that's going to be again, this is speculative, but educated guess or educated speculation nonetheless. You'd find that Manje, my 5 acres, because of the access road being fixed like that, the 5 acres going at 200,000 kwacha. Okay, maybe it would start at 150. But in a moment of maybe 2-3 years after the 150, you'll be talking about 5 acres going for 300. So this is the time, and these are areas that would say it is perfect to practice land banking, because for it to get at its cash cow stage, it is going to take a little bit of time, and yet only very little development to incite it, and then you'll be making your money from there. Mabula 50 acres at 350,000 kwacha from Horizon Properties, and we're talking about land that is titled, of course, 350,000 kwacha for 50 acres. Then later on, say in a period of 5 to 10 years time, you subdivide it into 5 acres. You're selling one at 200,000 kwacha, 250,000 kwacha. Again, speculated but educated guesses nonetheless. So these are areas that we strongly recommend that people put their money in, because these types of return you don't see anywhere else. And then also, maybe just something to put out there, we have a site visitation on Saturday to Chiawa. So anybody that is interested in viewing this area, so that at least they get a pictorial view and they get to see what we're talking about it having its natural vegetation being intact, it being virgin farmland, and being very, very good for basically its arable land, and you can do a lot of things with it. So you can contact my number if you're interested in viewing the Chiawa land. The number to contact is 0977 800 203. That is 0977 800 203. So that we talk, and of course sync our programs for Saturday or whichever day that you'd like to view. But this Saturday we're going there, taking a few clients to view. If you'd like to be a part of that, give me a call, and then we obviously arrange that.
Yeah, and we also have funds in Chisamba. Maybe let me allow Mr. Lutaka to actually proceed and give details in Chisamba before I discuss the other four.
Here with the Chisamba land, actually, our coordinator has thrown me off, because this is his area of interest when he starts to talk about Mwachsompola and everything. So, okay, let me try to replicate what he does. So, this is of course in the northern direction. You reach Landless Corner, and you go on that road for 13 kilometers, and you branch off this Mwachsompola road. You branch off, this is Old Mungwa Road if I'm right, yes?
Yes.
You branch off Old Mungwa Road after, of course, 13 kilometers of Great North Road. You branch off to your right, and then move for 9 kilometers now on a gravel stretch. And this gravel stretch, for the most part, it is smooth, so that's not going to be much of a toll on you or your vehicle. Once you get on this land, you get to realize that power is in close proximity. The land is flat and very easy to start, or rather commence developments, because of course it is flat land and clear for the most part. So this is very, very good land that is going at 100,000 kwacha for 5 acres. And then also maybe to get a little bit of motivation, you're going to see that your neighbor, if you're facing the land, your neighbor is going to be to the back of you. Your neighbor has already started developments also, and they are doing all year round vegetation. I believe they've got irrigation.
Yeah.
So water is close. Of course, you need to drill your borehole. Apamande, in case you don't want to tap into the power grid, because maybe no malaiti and it might affect your production, or engage, of course, purchase solar panels and get your alternative energy, so to say, going, and then you start production. So it's only 9 kilometers off the tarred road, and the total kilometers of 22 kilometers from Great North Road. That is, of course, 13 kilometers being tarred and 9 kilometers being off the tarred road. And we're talking about 5 acres going for 100,000 kwacha. Installment plans are there in order in case they're thinking that's a little hefty. Of course, we're accommodating or flexible if you like. Payment plans are in order. All you have to do is get down on the ground. We take you to view. And of course, we initiate talks. And of course, there's also a proportionate discount in case you buy outright. That's outright payment or cash payment, as we call it.
Yeah, and then we also have an interesting listing in Chongwe. This is right on Chongwe River. So it's Chongwe Riverfront, and the total extent is 7.5 acres, which we are selling at only 350,000 kwacha. So in case you're someone who's been looking for land which is close to Lusaka, something which is on the river, we have land right available in Chongwe River, 7.5 acres in extent, and the price is only 350,000 kwacha. For this one, please call me on 0777-002756, 0777-002756 for the Chongwe Riverfront, which is 7.5 acres in extent. And then we also have farms in Mongole. So Mongole, we have farms, 5-acre portions of land, which we are selling at 150,000 kwacha. So we have this for 150,000 kwacha, and we have the other side, which we're selling at 250,000 kwacha. Both are 5-acre portions of land, but different location. The other one is too close to the tarmac, the other one is a bit further from the tarmac. But what you do is give us a call, and then we'll give you all the details that you need with regards to all the funds.
All right. If you just tuned in, you are listening to Property Focus, brought to you from Horizon Properties. Let's take a short break.
Real Property Merchants offers proficient, time-tested real estate services to all property buyers and sellers. Are you selling or letting? Looking to buy or lease property? We sell and let residential, commercial, and industrial properties, farms, and small holdings throughout the country. Our pride is in offering tailor-made services to meet the unique needs of each client, coupled with innovative, effective marketing tactics for each property. Before you buy a plot of farmland, check if Horizon Properties doesn't have it at a cheaper price. Come and experience the proficiency that makes Horizon Properties stand out from the rest. Tried and trusted to deliver to its customers' expectations.
Similar or familiar, especially on social media. Now, Derek, how can a buyer tell if they are buying from the right Horizon Green Village project?
Okay, I would like to agree with you, Nono, that indeed a lot of adverts, and what is even more confusing to most of our buyers is that they seem to be a deliberate move where people would actually use even similar colors of our adverts, fonts, and things like that. But I think we would like to urge those that are listening to us and those that actually wants to come on board and secure land within the Green Village. So first and foremost, we'd like to confirm the location. So the Green Village is actually located in Silverest Extension. That is about 20 kilometers from the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport roundabout. You still use the Greatest Road. Okay, so you drive 20 kilometers, then just after the Chongwe Tollgate, then you turn to your right. That is the right location for the Horizon Green Village. You should not be taken to any other location apart from that location, because that is the right location for the Horizon Green Village project. Another point that we'd like to stress now is that the Green Village, if you want to reach us through social media, we only have one page, okay? This is the Horizon Green Village project page. So if you want to see the updates, you want to see the developments that are there, you want to talk to someone, we always update contact numbers for agents, updates in terms of what is happening on site, the developments that are taking place, what is like within the Green Village, what is there, what services are there, we always post there. So if you are not within Zambia, you want to get more information about the Green Village, please go to Horizon Green Village page. You're going to find more information. If you still want to talk to someone, we always actually share contact numbers. But for those that are listening to us and you want to talk to someone, please, you can actually call me on 077-9707-215. 077-9707-215. That number, you can either give me a direct call or you can text me on WhatsApp. I'll be able to give you more information about the Horizon Green Village project. And also, you need to understand that those that may imitate us, they can give you wrong prices. They can give you more wrong information. So if you are someone that is still wondering what plot sizes we have, the pricing, the payment structure. So currently in the Green Village, we have two sizes. We have the 20 by 22.5. Those are 450 square meters plots. So if you want that plot, it is only going at 120,000 kwacha. If you pay cash for it, we'll give you a discount. If you want a payment plan, please come to Horizon Properties. We'll be able to give you a payment plan where you can pay in installments. Another size that we have is 30 by 30, sorry. So 900 square meter plots, these are going for 228,000 kwacha only. So if, like I mentioned, if you want to pay cash, we'll be able to give you a discount. If you want to pay under a payment plan, please come to Horizon Properties. We give you more information about the payment plans that we have. So people need to understand, those are the two sizes that we have in the pricing structure. Like I mentioned, those are the prices that are applicable within the Green Village. So if you are taken to an area and maybe they tell you to say, this is a project that you usually listen to on radio, or maybe you have come across on social media, please listen to us. The information that we're giving you now, that is a true reflection of what the Green Village is. Okay, another point that I would like to make mention is that if you call and you are given information, then you request that no, maybe you want to view the site. Someone is trying to dilly-dally, or someone is hesitant to actually give you more information about the site visit. Please, that is a red flag. For the Green Village, we have site visits almost every day. Okay, so if you are going to call me, you can schedule an appointment any day. Okay, but our official day is Saturday. If you are mostly free on weekends, please reach out to us on Saturday, because Saturday we are always on site. We start off from our Kablonga offices at 9 hours. By 10:30, we are already on site and we're attending to clients. So if you want to view the Green Village over the weekend, please get in touch with us and we'll be able to show you plots. Okay? Because we believe that you should make an informed decision based on what you see. Okay? We are not a company that would shy away from making our clients view the properties that they have expressed interest in, for them to make an informed decision. Because even us as people that are in sales, we are able to advise. Okay, if you tell us to say, okay, this is the kind of a plot that I want, this is the kind of infrastructure that I want to build, this infrastructure I want to use it for this purpose, we'll be the first people to actually advise you. Okay, we may not take you to the Green Village, but maybe we can find you something, or we can actually advise you to go for something that is already available because of your intentions for that particular property. So we believe that the Green Village is a project that is in public domain, and whenever you want to view, please feel free to come to Horizon Properties and we'll be able to show you the Green Village. Another point that I wanted to stress out again, Nono, is that when you come to the Green Village, our agents are always in branded attire. Vehicles that we drive are branded Horizon Properties. So if you are going to meet someone that is telling you to say they work for Horizon Properties, but they do not have a branded attire, they do not have an ID, they do not have, maybe they are not driving a vehicle that is branded Horizon Properties, please, you need to take a caution on that and make sure that you see what we're trying to explain. Because whoever comes from Horizon Properties, they must have these things that I've mentioned. They must be driving a branded vehicle. They must be in branded attire. They must have an ID from Horizon Properties, because that is our identity, okay? That is to show that we are people that are genuine, we are people that are there to offer a service. We understand that there are a lot of gated communities and people are getting confused, but we can assure you that the Green Village is a project that appeals to the upper class, but most affordable for any class of people. You can be working in government, you can still come to Horizon Properties and afford to buy a plot in this prestigious gated community. You can be working in the private sector, you can still afford because of the vision behind this project. Like we have mentioned, this project is mainly anchored on sustainability, affordability, and modernity. So we are blending affordability with modernity as well as sustainability. So whilst you are fighting the effects of climate change, you must be able to live in the modern times. You must be able to afford. So we understand that we are here to provide a service, but at least you can afford to buy plots in the Green Village.
All right, thank you, Derek. Now, if someone, say, was to secure land for their children's future, and let's just say maybe, the kids are still in preschool right now, pretty young, what kind of location should they be considering? And what are some of the available options in terms of residential plots that you have for sale?
That's an interesting question. Again, it is really where the mindset of, so to say, the guardians of the children, where the mindset is at. Are they thinking, because most people, or rather other people, have got a predisposition of being inclined to a certain area. No, nifuna kusalama park, wanawanga kanisitale usalama park. But then if you ask me, I would say, do away with that narrative or that inclination. Think instead. Because if your child is, say, in grade 1, that means it's going to take them, you'd say, a fairly 21 years, somebody's in college, right? And then college, let's say, 4 years. So that's 25 years for them to complete college and whatnot. So we would say 25 years, if you get land in bulk, we're talking about vast amount of land here, we're talking about, of course, at least, the least would be maybe 5 acres on the upwards of that. So say you get 20 acres for your children, say in Chiawa, for instance, and this right now costs you maybe 160,000 kwacha, and then your children are now in college. This is, say, 20 years later. Mr. Zaza, you get 20 acres, that's 5-acre portions, yearly 4. 20 years later, you'll be saying, again, I keep saying this because I need to put up the disclaimer, this is educated guess, educated in the sense that this is in the area of my expertise. I call it a guess because I can't tell or predict the future. And I call it a speculation because literally that's what it is. So Mr. Zaza, in 20 years, I would say for a 5-acre, looking at how fast the population of the country is growing, and also factoring in the laws of economics of demand and supply. So demand, one, as my supervisor has mentioned, land is finite. So as Apanga any more land in Chiawa. And the number of people is growing in Chiawa is in the province of Lusaka. So that already gives it something to look up to, or rather makes it attractive. Mr. Zaza, I would speculate that a 5-acre in Chiawa in, say, 20 years, not killing value, in other words, not calculating inflation, but we're saying with current value, but only 20 years added onto it, I would say a 5-acre would be going for at least maybe 3.5 million kwacha. Current value, meaning of course, if say the value of 3.5 million kwacha now, in 20 years is say 7 million kwacha, I'm saying 5 acres in Chiawa will be going for 7 million kwacha at that time. If that current value, again, nakambama if yangili, because this is complicated. In current value, 3.5 million kwacha. If inflation is double that, then in 20 years time, 7 million kwacha for 5 acres. And guess what, Mr. Zaza? Ulinama 5 acre ya yali 4 if you get 20 acres in Chiawa now. So that means from your 20 acres, 3.5, that's about 14 million kwacha. Now, Wapasavana, that is an inheritance beyond you. And then Nabebe, if they've got any better sense, or they've got as much sense as you have, again, for people who are not doing this, I'm not saying you don't have sense. And if your grandfather didn't leave you any land, I'm not saying he doesn't have sense either, but I'm saying he put you in a predicament. So anyway, Mr. Zaza, that means Nabebe Manje, they've got a footstool upon which also to leave your family, the next generation, so to say, at a better stance. You see, they'll now at least sell off whatever they can if they don't want to sell off everything, because also then at that point, Chiawa, to gain that value that it would then have had, or would then have, is that it becomes populated, extremely populated. You see, because the population again is growing and it's going everywhere. So then they would now have this task, like you would have, of getting land in Chiawa now, buying land where not everybody is there yet. You see, getting ahead of everybody, doing something different from everybody else. Because if you do things the same as everybody else, Mr. Zaza, that means it's risk-free or really low risk in it. That means low returns also. Again, speaking language of economics. I think that's what I would say, coming to that, as to what I would advise, or rather what type of property I would advise somebody to get. To my plot, to my residential, I wouldn't really advise that, because then there's very little development that you do in say 20 years time. It's of course a very good resale value at the time, because that is a place that will not have land at all. So take for instance right now, I'll give an example of in Ibex. The people that have land in Ibex are really enjoying. Salama Park the same, and of course Tizakamba na Bene Kablonga and Bene Olympia and all these other areas. But basically it's the same story. But I would advise, if you're going to be prudent and have an aggressive approach with this, get massive amounts of land. You will never go wrong. And then in terms of residential, what we have right now, Mr. Zaza, is of course what Mr. Derek Katongo, my supervisor, was mentioning. We of course have the Green Village, which I strongly suggest, with of course the appointments that he said, you can view on Saturday if you're busy throughout the week. But then also another thing to mention is that we are readily available for viewing any day. Some of our agents actually even work on Sunday. Again, they're not mandated to work on Sunday, that's their choice, because again, Venangu maybe they're not available on Saturday, so they take them to view on Sunday. Again, that's the agent's choice, so you need to make an appointment with them and see if they're flexible like that. So during the week, we take people to view during the week, because that's our job. Your job that you do to make the money so that you can buy this land, it's our job to take you on the ground. So if you have time during the week and you don't have time during the weekend, come through and we'll take you to the Green Village. And believe me, we can't do that site any justice. Words are beyond, the site is beyond our comprehension, so to say. Beyond that, we have land, of course. Let me mention a starting point of, rather what I would say, a prime area, Lilai. Lilai right now we have 3 sites. We have a site that's close to Jigrins, I would say 600 meters to the left at the point of view meeting Jigrins. You turn to the left, move something like 600 meters, that takes you to the site. And again, all these 600 meters, 300 meters is tarred road. So you only be moving on a gravel stretch for 300 meters. The site is very developed, quiet and tranquil neighborhood. And the specific lots that we're selling, of which are 5 lots right now, they've got at least a natural tree. So you choose what to put down and you still remain with others for that look, so to say. These plots, again, 600 meters from Kasama Road, that is the Jigrins point, 300 meters of this is tarred road and 300 meters is gravel stretch. The extent is 25 by 42 plots. This is 1,600 square meters. That's more than 40 by 30 for the layman. So 1,600 square meters, 42 by 25 in extent, going at only 550,000 kwacha. So 550,000 kwacha gets you a plot in Lilai, 600 meters from Jigrins Point, that's branching off Kasama Road, and 300 meters only on gravel stretch. And keeping true to Kasama Road, this point you go now beyond Jigrins, say something like 300 meters after Jigrins, or proceeding on Kasama Road after Jigrins, and then turn to your left, and then move on a gravel road for 150 meters. 150 meters to 200 meters, you get to our 40 by 30 plot, which is 1,200 square meters in extent. And then what you get there is, of course, the 1,200 meter plot in extent, which is going at 650,000 kwacha only. Again, you get to view these things, and then we can talk in person, give you the payment plan, or give you what you can obviously pay in cash, because obviously cash does attract an incentive of a discount. So we can all have all of those conversations. Now, moving out from Kasama Road, we take you now to Lilai Road. This is the site that we've been talking about with the 20 by 30 plots. These other two have got bigger lots. So the 20 by 30 lots are along, actually off Lilai Road, at the point of Lilai Shaft 5, Lusaka Water and Sewerage. You turn to the right and move only 400 meters off Lilai Road. And what you get there is 20 by 30s that are enclosed in a fence. So it is of course secure. And then the 20 by 30s are going at only 385,000 kwacha. This is only 400 meters from Lilai Road. Amenities are already in place, in the sense that we have 2 shopping centers. People do exaggerate and say shopping malls. And of course, with places like ShowPrite, Showpeas, and all these other obviously places of relaxation, or so to say, letting your hair loose. So 385 gets you this plot, and what you can do with it, of course, you can build to put up apartments for rent, because this is a very high traffic area rental wise, and of course it's also very suitable for you to build your own residential house there to live, because it's a very neat place for you to raise a family. There will be no outside interference into how you raise your children and dictate how your children grow up. I'm talking about negative vices here. So that's what we have in terms of Lilai. And if at all there is any site I would like to mention, the Foxdale plot that we have. In Foxdale, we have a 22 by 45 title plot located 1 kilometer from Zambezi Road. This is 22 by 45 in extent title plot, only 1 kilometer from Zambezi Road, going at 750,000 kwacha only. Again, Foxdale does have its appeal, so if you're interested, simply contact me on 0977 800 203, and we shall obviously schedule that viewing appointment and get you down on the ground. And then another thing that I would like to mention is, of course, in Chifwema. In Chifwema, we have a well-located 2-acre title plot in a developing area, only 5 kilometers off Chifwema Road, going at 495 per acre. So 1 acre is going at slightly under 500,000 in Chifwema, 5 kilometers off Chifwema Road. I think I digress.
All right, thank you so much, Lutanda. Now, obviously, as we're about to wrap up our conversation this evening, what message do you have for anyone who's listening right now, who's still on the fence about investing in land or property through Horizon Properties for this month of June?
I would repeat my words, where I said the longer you wait to buy land, the more expensive it becomes. So the best time to buy land, I think, is now. You don't have to wait to buy land. We've always said it on the show to say you buy land and wait. Don't wait to buy land. I would repeat that. And if you're someone who's not decided, you're still thinking, what can I get? What's available? What can I do with the land? I think the best you can do is visit us in our offices. We are on shop number 8 on Chindo Road, Sport Kaplanga Shopping Complex. Simply walk through and ask for any of us, and we'll definitely see you. We can go through to our Woodlands head office, which is right opposite Woodlands Primary School, right on Chindo Road. And also have an office in town on the alley behind Osaka Hotel. Or you can simply call me or send me a WhatsApp message on the number 0777 002756. 0777 002756. Send me a WhatsApp or simply give me a call and I'll give you the information that you need. But better still, for everything discussed in the show or anything related to real estate, the easiest is send us an email to info@thehorizonproperties.com and the information will be given to you for free. So we don't charge for information. The only thing you have to do is that send us an email to info@thehorizonproperties.com, and if we can't give you the information via email, we'll send you a different scheduled meeting so that you can sit down and discuss what you need from us.
All right. Adrian, Lutanda, as well as Derek, I'd like to say thanks so much for coming through. It's always a pleasure to have you guys from Horizon Properties.
Always a pleasure being here, Mrs. Zafo.
Okay. There you have it. That's it for today's episode of Property Focus. Be sure to catch us next week on Tuesday, just after 18:30, right here on Hot FM. Do stay tuned.
A beautiful development is sprouting in Silverest Extension, and it has set the whole city talking. It's the Horizon.